Welcome to Betty's Cooking Channel. Today we're gonna do some baby back barbecue ribs, and they are delicious. So let's get started. The ingredients that I'm gonna use today are paprika, 1 teaspoon of cumin, half a teaspoon of cinnamon, half a teaspoon of thyme, half a teaspoon of cayenne, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon of onion powder, 1 teaspoon of basil, half a teaspoon of allspice, 1 teaspoon of Worcestershire sauce, 1 teaspoon of coconut aminos, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, and I'm going to use 1 tablespoon of mustard to go over the ribs. So let's get started. Well, let's pull out the ribs and let's mix all of these ingredients together. I mixed all the dry ingredients together. I have 5.28 pounds of ribs, pork spare ribs. So the only thing I have to add to this seasoning is some salt. And let me get the salt. Go ahead and add 5 teaspoons of salt, but it's up to you how much salt you want to use. So this is sea salt I'm adding. So you don't have to do like I do. You put less salt, but I'm adding 5 teaspoons of salt. Okay, and I'm just using my fingers, so I'm estimating 5 teaspoons of salt. And I'm gonna mix it together. I always add some sugar to my barbecue. So let me get these Stevia. 2 packs of Stevia. Mix that up together. Okay, remove that and take the paper off the ribs, and also you want to remove the membrane off your ribs here. So that's what I'm going to do also. That's the back side of the rib. This is very tough after it's cooked, so always remove that membrane. I added the mustard to the ribs. I have removed all the rib tips from the rib and also the skin on the other side. So now I'm going to add the seasoning on the ribs. I added some coconut amino to the top of the ribs. Now I'm going to add the seasoning to the ribs. The seasoning smells really good. You can make this seasoning and use it on anything. It's a really good seasoning. Okay, all right, and I'm gonna do the other side. Okay, I added some to the back side of the ribs, seasoning and mustard. Now I'm going to cover it. And this is just some parchment paper and some aluminum foil. And this is optional. I'm adding some liquid smoke to the ribs. so it's up to you. That was about 2 tablespoons of the ribs, and now I'm gonna wrap it. You notice the ribs are longer than my pan, but they will be okay. I got them wrapped up tight, and I'm gonna add the rib tips to the other side of it here. I added the mustard all over, and I added some liquid smoke. So now I'm gonna add the seasoning to it. Try to cover all of the meat with the seasoning and mustard. Okay, now I'm gonna cover it and let it cook. Notice I used all of the seasoning that I made on the ribs, and they're gonna be delicious. And I'm gonna place them in a 275-degree oven and let them cook for 3 hours. I just took the ribs and rib tips out of the oven. They've been cooking for 3 hours on 375 in the oven. There's a lot of juice and came off of them. They are very tender. Here are the rib tips. Now what I'm going to do is add some barbecue sauce on the ribs and place them in the oven for about, I would say, 15 minutes. I'm going to use a little bit of this barbecue sauce, barbecue ketchup, and I'm just gonna spice it up a little bit. Just gonna add a little bit of this barbecue sauce here, ketchup, and make my own barbecue with this ketchup. I'm just adding some of this sugar-free ketchup on these ribs because I season them really well early on, so it really doesn't need a lot. So I'm gonna just pour a little bit on it. And the same thing for these rib tips. Pour a little ketchup on it. And it's gonna be really good. Okay, I'll go ahead and place them in the oven at about 400 degrees just to caramelize the barbecue sauce on the top of the ribs and rib tips. I just took the ribs out of the oven and they look delicious. The rib tips look great as well. Let me turn it around so you can see it. Looks really good. So I'm gonna place it on a plate. If you like this recipe, like, subscribe, and share this recipe with your friends and family, because this is a delicious recipe.